Of course, if I did go back, I might not actually choose Jesus preaching on a hillside because I wouldn't know what he was saying. Maybe I don't want to go, dude. Maybe I don't want to see that.
It's all very confused. Where are the subtitles? The subtitles. What
are you saying?
I've never thought about that.
James?
Yeah, I want to go see Jesus preach on the mountainside, and then you get there and you're like, that was a little underwhelming. I have no idea what just happened.
It's not Jesus from it's not the chosen.
Oh, I've never thought of that. That's so true. It's like this is all very. It's great to be here. This is all very confusing. People are upset. Yeah. People are happy. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. We're today on Behind the Tunes here from the Visible Music College Studios with Kevin Young and Andrew Stanton of Disciple, DiscipleRocks.com. Guys, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, man.
Well, Kevin, I want to start with you. Yeah, for sure. Kevin, I want to start with you. I'm going to go back since you've been with Disciple, let's just say from the beginning, right? We won't say how long the beginning's been, but you've been there since the beginning. Tell me about the early days of Disciple. How did you guys come together?
So you mean like where the Bible says in the beginning? Or like,
whichever one comes first.
What was the early days like? I was a child. I was in high school. We say the Disciple started in December of 92, but that's not true. It really started way before that. It started in middle school. Me and the drummer were in a band called Disciple. We did most of our practicing in middle school. We had our first show this summer, or the very, very, very beginning of our freshman year of high school, or my freshman year anyway. So most of our practicing was done, in middle school time in that summer right before high school, our first show. But we don't really count that because the guitar player that we started the band with when it kind of took off didn't really meet up with us until the end of 92. So we say that was the beginning when he showed up. So yeah, I've been there since the beginning, and the beginning was a bunch of children playing music together. We were kids. That's what it was. Imagine kids playing music together, and that's exactly what it was.
So you guys started off there in the early days of high school. You played clearly, I guess, through high school. At what point for you were you like, you know what? I think this is what we want to do, and you really began to pursue that kind of full on?
Moment number one, first band practice for me. I'd say that I'm the only one that was like that, though. That's kind of probably why I'm still here and everybody else is gone. I just knew, I don't know, I just had this thing inside of me that I knew this is what I was born to do. Very first band practice, I don't remember if it was 7th grade, 8th grade, 6th grade. I can't remember when it was, but I knew like this is what I wanted to do, what I was born to do, what my life was going to be about. I remember I tell the guys all the time when I graduated high school, my mom was like, "You need to go to college," and I said, "I'm going to do this Disciple thing and give me a year, see if we get signed, and if we don't get signed in a year, I'll go to college." So it took 3 years for us to get signed. So I just kept telling her, hold on, just keep pushing it back. But that's been the case with everything. We take the slow route on everything that we do. We've never taken a fast route to anywhere. So, well,
it's worked out for you. Again, we're here with Kevin Young and Andrew Stanton of Disciple. Andrew, I want to shift over to you for a second. You were not there as a young freshman in the early 90s. You rolled onto the scene 2013.
He was in his own band when he was a teenager.
Yeah, but now we don't talk about them, Andrew. We talk about Disciple.
In 1993, I was in a band called Kindergarten. It was like 30 of us.
You were learning the colors.
That's a huge band. That paycheck is small because you got split it 30 ways.
Yeah. Oh man! Yeah, so you weren't playing with them then? Yeah. Well, so tell me, 2013, how did you end up connecting and ended up in Disciple?
Yeah, so after I quit that first band, I went on to grade school, and then in also freshman year of high school for me, which is 10 years later, 2003, I met my friend Austin, and we started a band called I Am Empire, and we did some records and some touring, and we met Disciple in 2010, played some festivals together, that kind of thing. And 2012 came around, they're doing the 20th anniversary in Germany at Christmas Rock Night. So they had Brad and Tim up on stage doing old songs, and I was a fan, so I was watching, loving it. But we got to hang out a little bit after and sort of get to know each other better at that festival. And Kevin told me that the current guitar players, which were Andrew Welch and Mike Santa, were both going to be leaving the band, and kind of like looking for new guys. And my band didn't have any tours coming up, and I wanted to be a touring musician, guitar player. So, of course, I offered in front of the rest of my band that I'd be available to do a tour. And
I did not help him out in this situation whatsoever. I actually made it worse.
Yeah,
I actually made it. I really, his first interaction with me, I made him look really bad and uncomfortable because he's like being so genuine and so nice. And if you know Andrew very well, he is the sweetest human being alive, and he's being very kind and gracious and just like, hey man, I'll help you out if you need a guitar player. And of course, there's band standing right there. And then I, being the absolute jerk that I am, I was like, well, aren't you already in a band? And I mean, I said it right there in front of his bandmates. And of course, the singer was like, yeah, aren't you already? And I just basically just started the commotion, I guess, if you will. And of course, Andrew's just being the sweet heart, awesome human that he is.
Whenever at the end of the trip, you asked me for my number, and I forgot it. I'd like recently gotten a new phone number, and I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea what my number is. Our bass player Josh had it. Oh, really? Okay. Hey, let me help you out. He got his phone out and looked it up and gave it to Kevin. I was like, well, there goes that. There goes that gig.
Like you're trying to avoid giving it to a girl.
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to call "Don't Remember My Phone Number" guy first.
Let's call the guy who can't remember his phone number.
Yeah, luckily the producer who did the Disciple album and the first Time Empire album, and the engineer for that record, and a couple other people kind of vouched for me, so I think I got a head start. And he called me a couple weeks later, and I did the Save Us Now tour, which was with Fireflight that year, 2013. And that was 10 years ago.
Very nice. Andrew, did you say you were a fan of Disciple before you joined them?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I first heard Disciple when the self-titled album came out. The singer of our band was a fan and had that album playing in his car all the time. And then I got Scars Remain when that came out. I worked at the Christian bookstore.
Yeah.
So I bought it, or I stole it early. And then probably paid for it later. Definitely paid for it later. But I love that album. I listen to that album all the time. And then because of those ones, I heard the older stuff, and all my buddies loved, Back Again and It's My Sting a Little, all those older albums they had them. And it just became a fixture in our world. Pillar was like my favorite band.
Yeah.
Disciple, Blindside, all the Hallmark bands from like 20 years ago. That was kind of, okay, this is what we want to do. This is who we want to be. So it's kind of like Kevin said, there's never any question about, do I want to do this or that? It's like, no plan B.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So was that kind of surreal for you at the beginning of like, I'm in Disciple now?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It'll still trip me out sometimes if I wake up on our bus, I'll like open my eyes and be like, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I play guitar in Disciple. I'm in Kentucky to play a show with Disciple. That's right. This is real. It's still happening.
That's right.
Right. That's so crazy because I obviously don't have that perspective at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Having been there the whole time. I don't wake up and think that.
You've never woken up any other way. So.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh wow, I'm a disciple. I'm like, no, I'm like, crap, I'm in disciple.
Oh, it was. I'm still here. Still.
Yeah. I went from California and the band that I started at that young age to living in Nashville and playing for Disciples. So there's a really clear partition for me in my life. But it's all been amazing. It's been a really awesome ride, and it's going to keep going. So.
Yeah. Again, we're here with Kevin Young and Andrew Stanton of DiscipleRocks.com here from the Visible Music College studios. Shifting gears just a little bit, Kevin, we know you started off in Disciple there very young, but music obviously before then was something important to you. What got you into music to begin with?
I had a youth pastor introduce me to Christian rock music, and that was the day that just changed my life forever. I mean, I became obsessed and just consumed with Christian rock music. And that era of middle school and high school was just every Christian rock band that existed at that time of 1988, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. Those bands in that era just shaped me, tremendously. And it was however many hours that I was awake during the day. I say I was devoting, a third of those hours to those bands, and just a steady diet of music. And it was so different, in the late 80s era, because most Christian music was kind of evangelism, the way that they go about it. In the 90s, things changed. Well, being a band that started in the 90s, but having had all of those late 80s influences, I, really took the way that they were doing things with me and just have kept it going, for 30 years. So like going and watching those guys, going and watching Petra play or White Cross play, they would always give a testimony and then an altar call or something that resembled an altar call, very, very almost church service like concert. And I just thought it was so bold because, my friends and I would go, or like a guy who was not a Christian, there'd be a friend of mine would go to that concert and they'd be like, they're like, wait a second, they're a rock band? What are they doing? How are they talking about? Where are we? It was just such a bold thing, where now it's more or less, maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's expected, maybe it's not, with a Christian musician. But in those days, it was extremely bold. It was very new. It was very, they didn't have any friends. The church hated them. And, people who weren't Christians were like, what are they now? What's he saying? So they were, this very radical lone wolf type thing, just doing this insanely courageous, bold thing. And I was obviously very impacted by it. And here we are today.
I'll chase that rabbit for a second.
Sure.
Because with your style, with rock music, it does reach a group of people that often aren't reached well by the church, if we're being honest. Has that been something that's just been kind of this constant encouragement for you along the way? Is it kind of a weight that you have to carry with you? Well, like, what's that kind of felt like through the years of being like, you know what? We get to go out every night that we play, and when we put music into the world, it's going to ears that may not be reached in any other facet of church.
Andrew can attest. I mean, we'll get some like YouTube comments, somebody that'll be like, I hate God, but I love Disciple, or something like that, And I think that's kind of saying we're accomplishing what we've set out to do, is at least be in that person's ear, whether we win them or not, we're wanting to at least be there with them. That I feel like even though that person says, I hate God at that moment, that seed that we've planted in them, at some point it's going to grow up. Sometimes getting in somebody's ear is not like a one conversation type thing. It's kind of, if we're in his ear, he might let us have that conversation over the next 7 years. You don't know how many times he's going to put that album on and listen to it. And so, yeah, we just want to have the opportunity to have the conversation with people, whether they're a Christian or not. And I think that we write songs in a way that's very, like, we don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Like, so we're not like 100% sure about everything. And we're very human. And so when we write about it from a perspective that people can relate to, because even if they don't believe in God, that we're relating to them in the human experience of, like, we have a desperate need for something greater, something bigger and help than where we are. And so, that's the way we like to write songs. I think that people definitely can like feel something. That's another thing we say, is we always want people to feel something whenever they listen to a song.
Yeah.
Like writing a song that just like has great guitar or good drums or a good vocal performance. Not saying just anybody can do that, but it's been done. But when you hear a song and you're not even listening to like what tempo it is, you're not listening to what the guitar is doing, you're not listening to what the singer's doing, but you just felt it,
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even put your finger on why you felt something. Like that's our ultimate goal, is we want people to feel something, because music has that way of just like breaking down the emotional barrier. And when you actually begin to, open your ears to God, that's where you get to that place, is where you're like, it's not just your mind and reasoning. It's also that emotional barrier. Like, you're feeling something. There's this desperation. So we definitely want people to get that place. Music just has a magical power of doing that, no matter what the words are.
That's right.
It can get into those emotions.
Man, I love it. Again, we're here with Kevin Young and Andrew Stanton of Disciple Rocks.com. Shifting gears just a little bit here. Andrew, I'll go to you first on this one. Do you remember the first album you bought with your own money?
I remember the first one that I was given, like, this is yours, and not like this is for your family or your parents. When I got baptized, we went to lunch after, and my best friend's family gave me Chase the Sun by the OC Supertones.
Yeah.
And as like a gift. They're like, hey, good job being baptized and stuff. And there was this kind of like magic moment that happened because it was related to that, where like that was the album that made me like love guitar. And it was one of the first albums I learned how to like play along with, power chords and stuff. But yeah, that was definitely the first time I was like, oh, this is my CD that I'm going to listen to. I think the first one I bought with my own money was Michael W. Smith, Missing Person.
I think I
know that was the song. I maybe the album was a different title, but yeah, those were the first ones that I was like, oh, I need to borrow my dad's Discman so I can listen to it.
Kevin, what about you?
I don't know. There was definitely some music that I jammed to, that I have early memories of. Before my first Christian rock album that was given to me was White Cross's first album in 1987, their self-titled album. So that was the first one that was given to me as a gift. So that one held a special place in my heart. I even have a tattoo memorializing that. But before then, I have vivid memories of other albums. I mean, I had a Star Wars vinyl that I wore out, that someone gave me at church. So, I mean, I was 4 or 5 years old and I wore this vinyl record, Star Wars, out. I had a Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun vinyl record that I absolutely wore out.
Yes.
That album was incredible. I also remember Night Ranger, Midnight Madness. I don't know if you remember Night Ranger, like Sister Christian and You Can Still Rock in America, and then Heart
in America.
Yeah, Heart had an album, like
Don't Tell Me You Love Me.
What? Yeah, Don't Tell Me You Love Me. Heart had an album that was like What About Love and These Dreams and whatever, songs like that, and Starship too. Apparently, I had this thing for rock girl singers, because I mean, like Starship, We built this city.
Yeah.
We would be Starship, and they had the girl in there, and then Heart, and then obviously Cyndi Lauper. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I just those were the early days, and Bon Jovi somehow weaved his way in there and became my favorite, artist along the way. But yeah, that's early. Those are early days. We're talking.
Yeah. Shift
84 was the year of music. I mean, you had Cyndi Lauper, Michael Jackson, and Prince, Purple Rain that year, and Van Halen, 1984. I mean, that year you could just about just open up 1984 and just find greatness through that whole decade, and that would be me being 7 and 8 years old in 1984. So, I mean, pretty pivotal 7 and 8. Those are some years when you're like starting to figure out
peak America.
You're starting to figure out what's good and what's bad. I mean, what amazing songs to have kind of shape, what's good and bad musically.
Shift into your live show a little bit. There's nothing like live music. It's one of the greatest gifts that we get to experience along the way. But there's some goofy stuff that happens along the way too. Do each of you have a embarrassing onstage moment that sticks out?
1,000 of them. Right. Every time I go out there. I'm freaking goofy. Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of them, Andrew. I'll try to narrow it down to one.
Yeah,
what do you got?
No, I don't have anything like that sticks out. I had the usual like nightmare of my amp doesn't work or something, but nothing like this one time that. Thankfully,
you've been lucky.
That's still to come.
That's good. We'll put a pin in yours, Andrew. We'll put a pin in yours.
I used to have a real problem. It's not so bad anymore. If I started laughing really hard, I would become semi-paralyzed. I don't know if you've ever met people that just start like laughing really hard and they kind of just fall on the floor and they can't really recover until they start laughing. I used to have a little bit of an issue with that. If I really, really started laughing hard. I remember we played this festival at one of these theme parks that, had a theme park with all the roller coasters or whatever. And it was like this outdoor amphitheater. I think even Third Day was playing there that day or whatever. And then these like hedgerows in front of the stage. And I accidentally stepped off the stage and like fell into these hedgerows or bushes or whatever they were. And I started laughing, because I fell off the stage, and so I couldn't get out of.
You're stuck in the bush.
I couldn't get because I was laughing, and I was like, just trying to get out of there, and I couldn't because I was laughing so hard. So, which made it even worse. I also did something very similar one time. I wore boots on stage for the very first time. We're very active on stage. It's like rock and roll is a contact sport, mentality is what we have. And I wore boots on stage, and I obviously wasn't very comfortable with the heel of the boot, lost my balance, fell back into the drum set, knocked over all these drums, and a very similar thing happened. I started laughing, and I just couldn't get off of the drums. I was like laying on them and like trying to get off of them, but I couldn't like pick myself up off of it. Just laughing.
You're like the happy Kurt Cobain.
I am so happy. If something goofy happens, I can't recover. If somebody falls down on stage, the song is done. I'll just be laughing, just like what an idiot, and you can't recover.
My first tour that happened to Josiah when he got his guitar hooked on the drums and fell.
Well, I'm glad I didn't actually see that happen because I saw the video of that happen. And what he's referring to is this moment where Josiah's like guitar string or chord he was running across the stage, and it literally like stopped him. Like a car driving 60 miles an hour hitting a brick wall. He's like going across the stage, and he just stops, and it just like yanks him back to the ground. And I didn't see it happen, but I watched the video, and thank God I didn't see it happen. I mean, it was violent. It was absolutely violent. Just slammed him to the ground. But yeah, man, that's the way we do it. I'm surprised that somebody hasn't gotten seriously injured on stage at a Disciple show, because we do. That's something we figured out very, very early on, that we were going to have a good show. and it came natural to us to put on a good show. Like having good songs came way later, like we were an okay band in the beginning, not a great one, but not even close to a great one. We were okay, not even a good one. We were just okay. But the thing that came natural was like putting on a show. We knew how to have energy. We knew how to, connect with the crowd as far as energy, because we liked going to shows. I liked, getting in mosh pits and just like headbanging and like, let's go mentality. All right, everybody with me kind of mentality, So we had that, and the violence and the energy of being on stage. I'm very surprised that none of us have gotten seriously hurt. I have gotten hit with a bass guitar a few times, and I hit him back. he hit me, and I hit him back. I mean, it's, probably wasn't the most Christ-like thing to do in the moment. But that did happen.
Again, we're on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College studios, wrapping up here with Kevin Young and Andrew Stanton of Disciple. Check them out at disciplerocks.com. Guys, I like to end with a little rapid fire. You got your game face on?
I can put it on. Stand by. Let me find a game face around here.
More rapider. More.
Here we go. Hold on. Okay.
There we go. We're ready to go.
I'm ready.
We're ready to go.
Now we're sporting. Yeah. We'll do it like this. Rally cap.
Rally caps. All right. Here we go.
Let's
Kevin, we'll start with you. What's your favorite junk food?
Reese's Pieces.
Andrew.
Sorry, it's muted. In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, all right. Kevin, favorite ice cream flavor?
Either banana pudding or anything with peanut butter.
Oh, a big peanut. So we got Reese's and peanut butter. All right, Kevin, what you got?
Yeah.
Salted caramel.
Salted caramel. Can either of you name one of the 7 dwarfs?
Only one?
You got them all?
Yeah.
I can probably name them all. Why not?
All right, go. What you got?
You got Sleepy, Dopey, Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Bashful. Good job. Way to go. I wouldn't have gotten Bashful. There's one more.
I'm trying to look at it.
So how about that? I can do 6 or 7.
I'll take it. Most people are like, Grumpy. Is Grumpy the one you named?
I'm old, man.
Grumpy.
Grumpy.
Grumpy?
How can you say Grumpy?
We're too happy.
We're too happy. The first one. I think happy, not Grumpy.
Love it. Hey, that's a first.
I mean, I've actually seen that movie. Several times, and as someone with kids, I've seen it recently. So there you go.
Oh, Kevin,
I thought you were about to say you saw it in.
Oh,
like, don't say that. Don't.
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the movie theater. Unfortunately, I'm not that old.
Kevin, what color is your toothbrush?
Which one? The one I keep at home or the one I take on the road? The one I take on the road is blue, and the one I keep at home is white.
Love it. Andrew, what about you?
Black.
Kevin, in the movie about your life, the Kevin Young story, what actor would play you?
The one that looks the most like Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Andrew, what about you?
Obviously, Johnny Depp.
Oh, there we go. Kevin, if you could be any Marvel character, who would it be?
Name a Marvel character you've never heard of. If I could be one, that's it. If I could be one, that's it.
Yep.
Probably that one.
Who is this?
The Punisher.
Oh,
asshole!
Yeah,
man, that was so just right there. You just had it.
Yeah. I was ready for that rapid fire.
Andrew, what about you?
I'm Iron Man for sure.
Kevin, what's your favorite board game?
Monopoly or Trivial Pursuit?
Andrew, what about you?
Stratego.
What? Stratego?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll Google it.
It was at the store. It's just not that popular.
I'll Google it. I'll Google it.
He's from California. They have different board games out there.
It's a whole different set of board games. Whole different set of board games. Kevin, if you had a time machine for one day, where and when would you go?
Oh my gosh, dude, that's too hard. That's too. You can't narrow that down to. Me and Andrew both are big history buffs, so you can't. I mean, like, I need time to actually think about this question. You know, I mean, there's so many. It's too many endless possibilities, man. I mean, I want to go see Michelangelo like paint the Sistine Chapel. I want to go see that. I obviously want to go see Jesus, preach on a mountainside.
Yeah.
Want to see what an actual Revolutionary War battle looks like. I mean, there's too many things, man. So I don't know.
I'm with it. Andrew, what about you?
So I was born in 88. So 1984, that I didn't get to experience all that stuff Kevin was talking about. So I would go back to that year or that era so I could like experience all my favorite bands and movies and all that stuff while it was brand new.
He was a man born at the wrong time.
I know.
True. Van Halen's my favorite band, so like being front row at 1984, the tour would be like, where else am I going to go? Now I feel bad because you said watch Jesus preach. I didn't know that was an option, but
that's all right. I had a guy on a few weeks ago. He said creation. I was like, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
You got there.
Yeah. I don't know if you can handle what you see. Of course, if I did go back, I might not actually choose Jesus preaching on a hillside because I wouldn't know what he was saying. Maybe I don't want to go, dude. Maybe I don't want to see that.
It's all very confused. Where are the subtitles? The subtitles.
What are you saying?
I've never thought about that.
James?
Yeah, I want to go see Jesus preach on the mountainside, and then you get there and you're like, that was a little underwhelming. I have no idea what just happened.
It's not Jesus from what's it's not the chosen Jesus.
Oh, I've never thought of that. That's so true. It's like this is all it's great to be here. This is all very confusing. People are upset. Yeah. People are happy. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Holy cow, that's incredible.
He looks mad. I think I know which one he is in the story.
That guy's a Pharisee over there.
Everyone
very upset with what's happening. Oh, this is I'm in Mark 4. We're in Mark 4. You have your Bible. You're trying to figure out, like, based on the reactions, what's going on. Oh, that's great, Kevin. I love that.
They got
following along.
Yeah, this is chronologically all wrong here. They messed this thing up.
All right, he's talking, so I know it's the red letters.
It's right. Find something red. He's not saying thou art at all. He didn't say thou art one time.
Yeah.
Oh, that hideth?
Yeah.
Oh,
How
man.
come there's no English translators in the year 0? What are they doing around here?
Oh, I've never thought of that. I love it. Oh, Kevin, favorite cartoon growing up?
Transformers.
Andrew.
Robotech.
Would 12-year-old Kevin think you're cool?
Unfortunately, he had a very low bar.
Andrew, what about you?
Yeah. This is what I was hoping I'd be able to do even for a little while. So
love it.
Check that I'm on, year whatever.
And last but not least, Kevin, something you hate that everyone else loves.
So that would be ruining a movie for somebody. That not everybody does it, but enough people do it to where that's the answer. Enough people, like, I've had to stop. If you're a stranger and you just decide you want to start talking to me, at some point in this 5-minute conversation, you're going to ruin a movie for me. So I feel like it's enough people where I can say everybody loves to do that, but I hate it.
We're starting a cause, stopruiningmovies.com. You can donate.
Yes.
And where we'll just flog people to it.
Like always, if you're talking about
He's
anything
definitely
that has
running
to
that
do
side.
with art or TV shows or a movie, always start the conversation with, "Have you seen it?" And then if the answer is no, you have an amazingly creative and intellectually, superior brain to talk about something else. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
There's plenty of other things to talk
Something
about.
else. There's plenty of other things to talk about.
Andrew, what about you? Something you hate that everyone else loves.
All right, let me explain myself, because my best answer to this question is dogs. And it doesn't apply to all dogs. But I did not grow up with a dog. We were like a cat family, I guess. That's weird to say. But I have a really hard time. It's got to be like a very particular, quiet, nice, friendly dog for me to feel like I really love this dog. Right? When I go to people's houses and they've got loud barking dogs and they jump up on the couch and they're sleeping in bed with them and all that stuff, I never got anything left from that. So that's probably,
I can support this. I can support this. Now listen. Now the dog lovers are burning their Disciple CDs right now. They're just burning. They're removing.
I'm a dog lover.
Oh yeah, that's
so
what
you know.
That's the answer. Okay. Because everybody else, including in the band, loves them.
They're pouring water on the CDs right now.
Everybody else in the band has a dog except for Andrew.
Yeah, I don't hate all dogs. I love a lot of dogs, but there's a lot of dogs I hate.
I'm not a dog person. But I do have a dog. I like my dog.
Yeah.
But I'm with Andrew in that I don't. If I go to somebody's house and they're like, "Oh, here's Smoopy," and then Smoopy's licking me on the face while I'm trying to summon, I'm anti that.
I'm with you. I actually don't like very many other people's dogs. I can say that there's one band member that I make his dogs leave the room when I go over there. So but I do love my dog. So there you go.
Yeah. Listen, here's all we're asking. This is easy. Don't ruin movies for us.
Yes.
And don't let Smoopy lick me on the face when I come to your house. If you can do those two things, we're good.
We don't know where when I go over to your house, I don't want to wear your dog. So everywhere I sit, now I'm wearing your dog. So that's what I don't like.
Oh, I mean, dogs are allowed to, they have free reign. They're allowed to smell, eat, lick, whatever they want all day. That's how it should be. But I don't want that on me. I don't want that. I didn't sign up for that.
I don't feel like visiting you and spending time with you means that I have to take your dog with me for the next 7 days.
Yeah.
It's hair. Where's this hair coming from?
Smell too much. The smells can be too much.
I feel like we're changing lives here today. I feel like this is successful. This one has been a success. It's Kevin Young and Andrew Stanton of DiscipleRocks.com. Check them out. Guys, you've been a ton of fun today. Thanks for hanging out.
You too, buddy. Thank you, man.